In this video, we're going to discuss heaters, proper use and safety of heaters. There are many different kinds, and there's not enough time for us to be able to put everything in one video, so we're going to work on the more important ones. You want to make sure, first of all, when having a heater put in, if you're going to do that, make sure it's done professionally. Make sure that you're checking with the town for code. You want to make sure that it's installed properly, otherwise it will be a huge fire hazard. You want to follow all owner's manuals, whether it's a fireplace or a space heater, whatever it is. You want to make sure to properly use that, so always follow the owner's manual. Make sure you have smoke detectors and fire extinguishers handy around so that in the event of a fire that they're there. Make sure that you stay safe with those. You want to make sure that you keep them clean and inspect them on a regular basis, at least yearly. You want to make sure that they're not broken. If they're broken at all, you don't want to use them. If it's a space heater, you want to check the power cord. If it's the fireplace, you want to make sure that that is cleaned properly and used properly. You want to make sure that they're checked often when using them. You don't want to just plug them in or start a fire, walk away and let it go. You want to make sure that you're monitoring it every so often, make sure everything is safe. You want to make sure to clear at least 3 feet in front of any heater. You don't want anything too close that can catch on fire. You want to properly use fuel. You want to make sure it is the one that is needed for that type of heater. You do not want to mix fuels because that can be unsafe. It can start a fire as well. You never want to have kids playing with them. Make sure that if kids are in the area of where a heater is, that they're being supervised. Make sure they understand the safety of that unit. Make sure that they're not in danger. And if you smell fuel, immediately turn everything off and get help. If your furnace is smelling fuel, it could be a major issue with your furnace. You may have that red flagged. You don't want to use something if you can smell the fuel. That is extremely dangerous. Now on to space heaters. If you have a space heater that you're using, you want to make sure that you're plugging it directly into the power source. You don't want to run it through lead cords, surge protectors. The more connections you have, the more dangerous that can be. Make sure that they're plugged in direct. Make sure that it's on a circuit that is strong enough for it. If you are putting it on a circuit in your electrical in the home that is overpowered, it can cause a fire hazard in the home. So make sure that it's not overpowering your breakers. You want to make sure it's on a flat surface. You don't want it to be on something unsteady where it can tip over, fall, and cause an issue that way. So make sure that it's on a good solid surface. And make sure you turn it off when not needed. You don't want to leave it on unwatched and end up having a problem that way. Now, the fuel burning furnaces, you want to make sure that you keep windows open when necessary. Maybe a cracked window so that you can get a little bit of ventilation. You don't want any gases building up in the home that you don't want. You want to make sure that you cool the furnace down or the heater down before you fuel it up. If it's a small kerosene heater, let's say, you don't want that to be hot when you're fueling it. You want to make sure it's cooled down so it's safe to fuel. You want to make sure that's also on a flat surface. You don't want it to be tipped over where the fuel can spill out. It can cause issues that way. And again, with those, make sure you're turning them off when not needed. You don't want a fire hazard when nobody's there. Wood burning items, such as a fireplace, you want to make sure that they always have screens on the front. You don't want debris flying out of them. You want to make sure that they're properly maintained. Make sure that they're professionally cleaned on a regular basis, once a year. You want to make sure that you're using good, clean wood. Make sure that it's safe. You want to make sure that you don't want to light it with lighter fluids or anything like that. You want to make sure that you're using a good ignition system. You don't want to do something that's going to cause a bigger issue. There's many other safety issues with heaters. This is just to give you a few of them. Do your research. If you're going to use them, make sure you're using them properly so that everybody stays safe. You don't want to have to call the fire department because you did something you shouldn't have been doing. So again, please stay safe.